Hello everyone, my name is Jordan Schutz and I work as a developer advocate at MuleSoft. In today's tutorial, we're going to be teaching you how you can sync data between Amazon S3 and Salesforce using MuleSoft. What's great is that MuleSoft has tons of out-of-the-box connectors available for you to use within your projects. So with Amazon S3, it allows you to store objects, download files, use data with other AWS services, and to build applications that require internet storage. And specifically with Salesforce, Salesforce has a file size limit of 25 megabytes, which means that if you want to upload large files to your Salesforce instance, you're going to need another system or another cloud storage provider in order to store all of that sensitive and important information. And what's great is that Amazon S3 is a great way to do this. You can build apps with native cloud storage, you can back up and archive critical data, and you can drive business intelligence and optimize operational outcomes. So in this tutorial, we're going to walk through how you can set up your Amazon S3 connector with MuleSoft's Anypoint Studio. And in order to complete this tutorial, you're going to need your own Amazon AWS account in order to get started, and you're going to have to actually grab your security credentials from the Amazon AWS console. All of the project files are actually available on the developer tutorial website. If you go to this tutorial in the description below, you can actually download the jar file and you can import it into your own Anypoint Studio project so you can get started and follow along with me. So the very first step is to log into your AWS account, and you're going to be greeted on the Amazon Management Console homepage. And you're going to go up to the top right and you're going to go to My Security Credentials. Once you do that, you're going to go to Users, you're going to click on your organization name, and then you're going to navigate to Security Credentials, and then you're going to click Create Access Key. This access key and this secret access key are what you are going to copy and paste directly into your Anypoint Studio project. So now that we've created our access keys, let's go over to Anypoint Studio and let's go to our local properties file. A local properties file is where you can store all of your passwords, sensitive information, etc. And then you can use these variables throughout your project. So that way, if you need to add or remove these credentials, or you want to send this project to other people and you want them to use their own credentials in it, all you have to do is just remove your credentials from one file. And just like that, it's really easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually paste in our access key and our secret key here. So once we've done that, and we've actually entered our Salesforce username, our Salesforce password, and our Salesforce security token, let's actually go through this flow, and let me explain to you how this flow works. So we are listening for an on new object, and specifically a lead. And what we've done is we've actually set up the frequency, so that way it only pulls Salesforce every 10 seconds to basically check to see if a new lead has been added to the Salesforce instance. And if we click the edit button right here, we can actually see that we entered our Salesforce username using this special notation, which actually grabs the Salesforce username from our local.properties file. And you can see here that in our configuration properties, we have a configuration properties global configuration element, which then assigns local.properties to our instance in Anypoint Studio. When we basically receive a new object from Salesforce, we're going to transform that data into the correct payload structure that our Amazon S3 file is formatted in. And then we're actually going to save this payload, this entire payload of information, as a variable, so that way we can use it later on in our flow. And with Amazon S3, there's so many connectors available out of the box. You can see here on the right-hand side, we have tons of different options for you to choose from. You can delete buckets directly from Anypoint Studio. You can create a brand new bucket, right? You can add new objects. You can create different bucket policies. You can even get objects, which is what we're using here, to basically grab objects from your bucket, and you can specify the object by the key. So in this case, it's customers.json. And we're actually defining the bucket to be this specific name because this is our bucket in Amazon S3. When we click on the edit button, we can see that we've actually defined our access key and our secret key, and we've even defined our region endpoint here. And this is all things that you're going to have to set up in your own project. So What Salesforce will return to us is they will basically return a payload. And what we can do is I'll actually show you this is what the payload looks like. So when Salesforce grabs a new lead, it'll put all the information in this JSON document. And what we want to do is on S3, we have a document that looks like this. It's full of a bunch of different Salesforce leads with the index incrementing by 0, by 1, and then we have one that's at 2. And so what we want to do is we want to add this new lead information whenever it comes in from Salesforce to this entire array that we have existing in S3. So what we do is we get that object and then we transform that message. And so we actually read the payload as application JSON. So sometimes it'll read as a string when you get an object from S3. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert that into application JSON, and then we're going to save that as a variable so that way we can use it later on in our project. And then we're going to create a transform component. And once again, we're using data weave to basically transform the payload and add the new object that we just received from Salesforce to the end of our existing payload from S3. So when this data weave code runs, what it will do is it'll add our new file or our new lead at the very bottom. So after 3, it'll add it as entry 4. And once that happens, we're then going to upload that document back to S3. So you can see that we have bucket name and we have key once again, and we're going to be writing to the payload. And we've defined that we're writing the file by the public _read_write canned ACL. So let's actually test this out and let's see how this flow works. So we're going to go to Salesforce, we're going to go to leads, and we're going to click on new lead. So let's input Max the mule, and let's add a phone number for him. We can add an email as well. Okay, and let's click save. So now this brand new lead was added to our Salesforce instance, and we're going to go back to Anypoint Studio, and you'll see that this flow has now executed. So it was able to successfully write to S3. So if we actually go back to S3 and we go to our bucket, we can check out, and we can actually download the new file. And so DataWeave was able to successfully read that lead information and then was able to write that to S3. So here's our customers.json document. We're actually going to go and we're going to download this. All right, let's open this up. Okay, and what you'll see here is that if we scroll down, you'll see that now a brand new index has been added, and this index should contain the name Max the Mule. See, maxmule@gmail.com, that's what we entered. First name Max, that's what we entered, right? And all the existing data is still all above this index that was already in the S3 bucket. So this is just a great example of how you can basically read from S3, you can download the file, and then you can rewrite to the bucket and re-upload the file and make modifications in real time. So this will run every single time a brand new lead is added to Salesforce, and this is just one simple use case and example of how you can use Amazon S3 in your Anypoint Studio projects. What I highly recommend you do is play around with this more. There's infinite possibilities on how you can integrate with S3 and Salesforce. Once again, I want to reiterate, one of the most popular use cases is that Salesforce requires files to be under a certain file limit. So you can easily create a new flow that when a file is above a certain size on Salesforce, it'll then upload that file to S3 and then change the lead information in Salesforce, point to the Amazon S3 bucket for the location of that file. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope that you found it helpful. Please leave any comments below if you have any questions. And if you want to read this full tutorial, please go to developer.mulesoft.com and go to the tutorials homepage to find this tutorial hosted online. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a great one. Bye-bye.